Hey amazing parent, it's Dr. Lindsay here with this week's psychology-based parenting tips about setting up an effective bedtime routine for your child. Yesterday, a dear friend of mine asked for advice on managing her tired 10-year-old who gets tanky, tired and cranky. What to do with a tired child. This topic is so large that I will initially divide it into 4 episodes focused on sleep hygiene. We've got bedtime routines, bedtime environment, bedtime, and bedtime disruptions, with much more to come after that on sleep training. As a quick preference to bedtime routines, I must highlight that well-rested kids and parents are primed for success. When either party gets tired, parent-child interactions suffer. Sleep is incredibly important. If you're suffering from sleep deprivation with a young child, stay tuned to the end where I'll tell you more about my sleep training success masterclass. I'll pop that link in the description below this video. Now on to routines. I cannot stress enough the importance of consistency in your child's life. Children thrive on consistency and predictability. It helps them to navigate through all the changes that they're experiencing physically and new learning experiences that they encounter daily. I'll talk more about daily routines in future episodes. Today we'll focus on bedtime, arguably the most important part of those routines. Bedtime routines are not just for kids, they're important for adults too, and are the first focus of our 4-part psychology lesson on sleep hygiene. Sleep hygiene refers to not just how clean you are for bed, but how your entire sleep routine and environment are set up, and whether they're conducive to getting a good night's sleep. I think of the bedtime routine as everything that happens after dinner. After clearing plates and wiping up any crumbs that spilled on their spot at the table, my kids head straight to picking out their clothes for the next day, then off to bath or shower. After that, it's time for pajamas, hair brushing, dental floss, and toothbrushing. Then off to story time. Usually Dad reads because he has not spent as much time with them during the day, and I start tackling the dishes, so all the chores are done before the last child goes to bed, and we still have a little bit of time to ourselves in the evening. Each child gets to pick out at least one story before bed, more if I got dinner on the table early enough and if bath time went smoothly. The number of books is made clear at the start of story time to avoid any later negotiations, and the child with the earliest bedtime gets to pick first. After their story, that child says goodnight to their siblings, and Dad and I walk them back for final potty and tuck-in, which is a quick event before Dad gets the next child's story started. Then we repeat the process 3 more times before Mom and Dad go off duty for the night. It's the same thing almost every night. The kids are almost always asleep within minutes of being tucked in. I love hearing babysitters say, "The kids went to bed so easily, it was a breeze." And grandparents say they're happy to watch the kids for date night because they're so well trained at bedtime. Having a reliable bedtime routine benefits you and your children. Your bedtime routine may be completely different than mine, as long as it's consistent and involves getting them into calm and quiet mode to be primed for sleep. I'd love to hear from you in the comments what you love about your bedtime routine. Our routine has changed slightly over the years. For example, we used to read in their beds, but our 3 boys now share a room and have staggered bedtimes. Of course, there will be some times when the routine is modified. For example, if we go swimming and shower earlier in the day, we skip the bath and go straight to our pajamas. Or if we go out to dinner and the service is slow and we return home too late to fit in a bath without sacrificing story time, as long as they're not filthy, we'll skip the bath. I let them know the plan on the drive home from the restaurant and remind them as we walk in the door. Then they get off to quickly putting on their pajamas to have time for story. Unless we're super late and that needs to be skipped too. The beauty of a reliable bedtime routine is that the kids can go with the flow for an odd night here or there because they're comforted by the knowledge that the routine will return the next day. What does your family's evening look like after dinner? How conducive are those activities with calm and quiet mode to get them primed for sleep? How consistent is your routine? In the last week, how many times did your bedtime routine vary? This week, I encourage you to examine your family's bedtime routine and see how you can tweak it to set you and your child up for a successful night's sleep. Sleep hygiene is part of the consistency category in my 5 C's parenting framework. If you're new to the 5 C's, look in the description below this video to find more parenting resources, including a video about the 5 C's parenting framework, and a link to sign up for my weekly newsletter to be sure that you never miss any of my new tips. Okay, amazing parent, that wraps up today's episode. Thanks for joining me to fill your parenting toolbox with psychology-based tools to feel more confident and capable in your parenting. If you found this video helpful, I'd invite you to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more Parenting with Psychology tips. And join me next week to learn how to simplify your family's morning routine. In the meantime, check out my free resources listed in the description below and keep up the good work on your amazing parenting journey. Oh, and if you have an infant or toddler who is not sleeping through the night yet, be sure to check out my step-by-step sleep training process detailed in my Sleep Training Success Masterclass at parentingwithpsychology.com/sleep. You'll learn everything you need to know to get your child sleeping through the night. You can also find that link in the description below.